I do know that we're in the month of love, and part of love is intention. So today's overall message is about spending with intention. However, I'm going to share a couple of lessons to help you spend with intention. I'm pretty sure you're very excited to hear me say spend, not save or invest. You're like, how is this financial literacy when I am spending? And a good part of how you use your money is also how you spend your money, not just how you keep it. Hey there, if you don't know me, my name is Oria Chilwani. I chat everything personal finance and a little bit of lifestyle just here and there. And please do like, subscribe, and share with a friend out there or anyone who you know may need this video and it may help them, or any of the other videos that I have shared. Today we're in lesson number 5678 of 26 basic financial lessons for 2026. Lesson number 5, split your spending into multiple accounts. So why do I say this? If you've ever been in a situation where you get your salary in one account, what ends up happening is your money, your debit orders go through, and then Netflix goes through, rent, or you pay your rent if it's not a debit order, and then it feels like you don't actually know what's going on with your money or how it's being spent, but it feels like somebody else is spending it for you, simply because everything is happening in one place. Having separate accounts can help you solve this problem. Have an account for recurring expenses, so your bond, car, Netflix, whatever your recurring expenses are. Then you have another account where you are intentionally spending that money. And that is the account that you could buy whatever you need to buy, pay for when you go out, so that you are actually aware of what you are spending on actually meet your daily needs or your actual living expenses versus more of your wants. So this kind of gives you more control of where your money is going, because you know that if I go to this if I go to this banking statement, I can actually account for how I spent my money. And guys, you want to know how you spent your own money, because then you know, like, okay, I actually did something for myself this month. I can see I bought myself a pair of shoes, or I went on a hike that really made me feel good. It's really nice to have a clear understanding of how you actually spent your money. And again, this will be according to the budget, not just recklessly spending. Lesson number 6, shop smarter, not harder. So for those of you that don't know, I recently moved out of home, and that has been quite a journey, hey? And one of the biggest adjustments I've had to make is buying groceries. I did not know the price of most things outside of maybe bread and milk, simply because I was not in charge of buying those when I was staying at home. I just consumed and never wondered what it cost until I actually moved out and I got the shock of my life. Well, what happened here was the first month, of course, I had provisions. It was my first month. I'm going to have everything. And then now it was a matter of actually trying to fit into my budget how I'm shopping for groceries monthly. But no 2 months fully look the same, but the average is around the same. How does this translate into shopping smarter? I realized that for me, when I was shopping in store, I would end up picking up things that I didn't actually come there for. And I know this is something that us ladies struggle with. I feel like men literally can just go into the shop, pick up the milk because they came for the milk, and leave. And for me, it's like, oh, the fruits are on sale. Oh, I'm feeling like something sweet. And that tends to derail me off my budget. What I've tried to actually help this is shopping online. So whichever store you prefer, whether it's Checkers, Pick n Pay, Woolies, and even Spar, they are now all delivering. So actually for me to go on the online app, I realized that I'm not seeing these aisles where they're trying to, trick me. And usually when they're like, oh, this might pair well with that, I'm like, I don't actually need that when I'm at home and doing my shopping online versus when I'm actually in store. So that's one of the ways I'm choosing to shop smarter to combat that budget inflation where I'm actually just buying things I didn't actually intend on buying. but I'm buying things I did intend on buying by simply just going online, having already a set grocery list, which also makes it easier because next month I don't have to think about what I want to buy. The list is already there. Another way I'm changing how I do my groceries is specifically weekly deals. Now, I'm working a corporate 9 to 5 and trying to figure out what I'm eating every single day. Sometimes does get challenging, and what I thought I wanted at the beginning of the month, when I'm buying a full set of groceries, might not be what I'm feeling on week 2 of the month. So I am on the journey of trying to do this weekly. Now, why am I doing this weekly? Instead of having this one huge budget where I buy in bulk, I buy during that week what I need for that week. And secondly, maybe there's a seasonal fruit that week, because now fruits and vegetables spoil quickly. So trying to buy everything in bulk or trying to buy them doesn't really help. So for me, it works better if I just buy what's in season for that week. And it lets me try out new fruits and vegetables, because I'm not really going to be buying the same type of fruit or vegetable every week. There's a new deal, so I will go with that if it's cheaper and still helps me stay on budget. Lesson number 7, there is food at home. Your mother has told you this. Your father, your grannies, uncles, there's food at home. And one thing about me, if you know me, which most of my colleagues would have seen I do, is carry my lunchbox diligently, guys, because I know there's food at home. And the reason I do this is to avoid unnecessary spending. Now, that doesn't mean that there are times I don't buy takeout or I don't buy something at the office. I do, but when I do so, I do know that I actually have the money or have a little bit of extra change that I can do that with. But most of the time, you will catch me eating my grocery, because there is no way I am buying that grocery and going to just let it rot. I am going to eat my groceries. I'm going to make sure that what I spent my money on is actually being used. And that's just one way that I am, still spending with intention, because I intentionally bought groceries. That means I need to also eat groceries. And yeah, so there is food at home. There's no reason to be buying out every single day. But I do know circumstances are different, and as somebody who works a 9 to 5, especially if you stay alone, it can get a bit tricky, because trying to go to the office and then trying to also meal prep, trying to go gym, it gets loud very quickly about the million things you need to do. And that's where you know that you have to just be intentional about maybe meal prepping, which is something I do, and being intentional about also the groceries you buy things you like, so that you're not tempted when you get to the office by things you're like, I haven't had that, or I really want that, because I don't have it at home. As far as possible, try to make it at home. It saves you so much money, and you've already, again, bought these groceries. Use them so that you're not actually wasting your own money. And last on today's list for spending with intention is lesson number 8, which is cancel what you don't use. Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus, gym membership. I know a lot of us have these memberships that are subscription based, and especially if you're also a content creator, you could look at things like your Canvas and your CapCuts that are billing every month, but you're not using it. If there's a free version, use the free version. But if you're at a point where you can actually pay for this and you're going to use those features, then it makes sense. But if you're not using these things, so if you have like Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus, everything, Crunchyroll, and you only use Netflix, why do you have the other 3? Just cancel what you don't use. And especially with that gym membership. I know in the beginning of the year, a lot of us were like, I'm gonna sign up, I'm gonna get snatched. And then it's now Feb, and you're like, actually, I haven't gone to the gym since the first week, okay? And that is quite scary, because now you're gonna pay for this thing for the whole year, and that's money you could have used on something you actually do use. Invested that money and rather taken a walk or do home workouts, whatever works better, because times are different, schedules are different. Gym may not be the best fit for you because you are just somebody who likes to be at home and the gym environment gives you anxiety, or you just don't have time to go there, but you find yourself at home and you can follow a YouTube workout, you can follow even TikTok workouts. So now you're paying for this, but you're not actually using it. Same goes with our entertainment subscriptions. A lot of the time you have a preference. You know that I prefer Disney Plus, or I prefer Netflix, or I prefer Prime, whichever one you prefer. But is it necessary to have all of them? And the simple answer is no. And if you are on a yes, maybe consider a friendship stokvel with regards to these entertainment platforms, which is something I do with my friends, and where one pays for that one, the other one pays for that one. So we're not essentially paying for everything, but you know that I've cut costs because now we're splitting it amongst each other. And that's something that actually helps us if you want those platforms, but you don't want to spend the money of having all of them on your own. Now you're splitting these costs, which can help. But in a case where you don't have that kind of setup, I think really reevaluate, do you need all of them? Because these things cost money, and that's money that could go to your investments, savings, or a particular need, especially if you're in a situation, I need to actually clear my debt. I have a lot of debt, credit cards or loans, and I want to focus on that. So the first form of you actually cutting down what you don't use would start with those simple subscriptions. And yes, it may not be this huge sum, but over time it does add up, and it does help in the long run if your goal is to maybe save, invest, or reduce your debt. So that is essentially it from me today with regards to intentionally spending. I hope these lessons have helped you. Do share in the comments how you are either using multiple accounts to track your spending and make sure you know where your money is going and spend better, or what are your grocery tricks to ensure you don't overspend. So is the online trick helpful for you, or there's a specific way you shop to make sure you don't get trapped into putting extra things into the basket that you didn't plan for? And that is it from me today. Do share in the comments. I really love to hear from you.